Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about male reproductive system. Now, let us discuss about female reproductive system. In female reproductive system, a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviducts, which are also called fallopian tubes, and a uterus, that is, only one uterus, are present. Ovaries produce female germ cells or egg cells. Ovaries produce what? Female germ cells or egg cells. While learning about the testes, we have learned that testes produce male sex hormone, that is testosterone. In the same way, ovaries produce female sex hormone called estrogen. Like how testosterone helps or it stimulates the production of sperms, and it actually plays the key role in the development of secondary sexual characteristics. In the same way, estrogen also stimulates the production of egg cells as well as the development of secondary sexual characteristics. So, how many ovaries are there? A pair of ovaries. And what do? They produce female germ cells or egg cells. And what other purpose that they serve? Ovaries produce female sex hormone estrogen. Next part is oviducts. Oviducts are also called fallopian tubes. Oviducts carry the egg cell to the middle of the oviduct. In the middle of the oviduct, fertilization of egg cell is generally carried out. Next, third part in female reproductive system. Uterus. How many uterus are present? Only one uterus. Uterus is an elastic bag. In uterus, both of the oviducts will unite into. Means they do not join with each other, but where they meet, the place where they come across is uterus. Right? Now, in the case of when it is learned that at what time the sperms are produced and at what time the testes are developed in a male body, it is learned that the maturation of the testis, or say the development of testis, it takes place after the birth. It starts during the time of adolescence, and by the time of puberty, the maturation of testis takes place. Coming to the ovaries. Ovaries are formed not after some period of the birth. Instead, ovaries are formed with thousands of immature eggs by the time of birth itself. By the time of the birth itself. Birth of whom? Birth of the girl child. Some of the immature eggs, they start getting mature during the time of puberty. But only one egg is released from either of the ovaries per every month. Means in June month, from one ovary, one egg is released. The July, from the opposite ovary, one egg is released. Again in August, from this ovary, one more egg is released. Like that, for every month, only one egg is released. And which ovary is going to release the egg? Both the ovaries are going to release the egg, but in alternative months. If one ovary has released one egg in one particular month, it is not going to release the egg in the immediate next month. Instead, it will release the egg after an alternative month. Same thing applies to the other ovary also. Right? The released egg is carried to the uterus through the thin oviduct or fallopian tube. Next to the uterus, there are another two parts which can be considered as external genitalia in female reproductive system. They are cervix and vagina. Uterus opens into vagina through cervix. Both vagina and cervix together form birth canal. During the time of childbirth, the baby is delivered or the birth of the baby takes place through this channel or through this canal. So only it is called birth canal. So which parts form the birth canal? Cervix and vagina. Okay. Do they serve only that purpose? Actually, during the sexual intercourse into the vagina, the sperms are released by the male. Then through the same birth canal only, the sperms travel through uterus and reach the oviduct. Sperms are released into the vaginal passage during the sexual intercourse, which is also called mating. The sperms travel towards the oviduct in an upward direction through cervix and uterus. Sperms may encounter or come across the egg cell in the oviduct. Means why may? Because whenever the sperms are released all the time, the egg cell may not be present because only one egg is released in a month, and that egg is going to be viable for only about 24 hours. During that time only, the egg cell will be present in the fallopian tube. In the remaining all days, the egg cell is not going to be present in the fallopian tube or oviduct. Because of that reason only, sperms may encounter the egg or may come across the egg in the oviduct, provided if that egg is there in it. Okay. And the egg cell gets fertilized by only one sperm. Millions of sperms are released into the vaginal passage, but only one could fertilize the egg cell. What is fertilization? Fusion of sperm with the egg cell is called fertilization. The fertilized egg is called zygote. The fertilized egg is called zygote. The fertilized egg, it travels into the uterus, and there in the uterus it gets embedded in the thick lining of the uterine wall. This process is called implantation. What is implantation? Zygote gets embedded in the thick lining of the uterine wall. This process is known as implantation. After implantation, the zygote starts dividing, profusely. Before getting implantation also, zygote, it undergoes certain divisions, but there are very less number of divisions. After getting implanted, then the division takes place rapidly so as to form the embryo, and from the embryo in order to develop a fetus, right? So after implantation, the zygote starts dividing. Mother's body is designed to undertake the development of a growing embryo. See, for all these things to take place, mother's body is designed in advance to undertake the development process of the growing embryo. Uterus, it gets prepared every month to receive and nurture the growing embryo. Uterus gets prepared every month to receive the fertilized egg and to nurture the growing embryo. Uterus gets prepared every month to receive the fertilized egg and to nurture the growing embryo. What does it mean by preparation? Preparation of the uterus. The preparation of uterus refers that the lining of uterine wall, it gets thickened and it is richly supplied with blood to nourish the growing embryo. What does it mean by preparation of the uterine wall? During the preparation, what will happen? The uterine wall, it gets thickened and it is richly supplied with blood, which contains several nutrients to nourish the growing embryo. So if fertilization takes place, this particular thing will happen. What is implantation happens? After implantation, how the nutrients are supplied to the growing embryo, okay, and what is the special tissue that plays the role in in the development of the growing embryo. Then if fertilization does not take place, what happens? All these things we'll discuss in the next class.